Who were the biggest newsmakers of 2015? What events defined 2015 for South Africans? And who are we likely not to see in the coming year? And what could 2016 possibly have in store for us politically? What time is it? It is question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Sedu. The year 2015 has no doubt been an eventful one, and so no shortage of controversial news headlines. On this last day of the year, we look back at the people and the events that defined the year for many South Africans. A reminder that you can call us and air your views on the following numbers: 089-110-4210, our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest today is Lybon Mabasa, who is the president of the Socialist Party of Azania, SOPA. Dr. Mabasa, welcome to Question Time, and indeed we thank you for joining us on this very last day of the year, calendar year that is. But your party, the reason why we're talking to you is because we hope that you will be objective. You are not in parliament, so you are not in parliamentary politics, and therefore your observation would also be quite an interesting one. Let's firstly look at some of these issues. The status. Roads must fall, and not only roads it was, but many other statues were supposed to fall. Was it important for them to fall?
Considering the time at which those campaigns were carried out, lots of people should or would be saying that these things should have happened at the dawn of our democracy, but it did not happen. And as a result, the baggages of the past, we keep carrying them with us into the future. And it is a given that at one point or another, people would want to feel this freedom that is spoken about every day. They would want to experience it. They would want to identify this freedom everywhere they went. And of course, if they turn and see the face of roads, they see Paul Kruger and so on, and they want to ask themselves, in which country are we? What has actually happened in 1994? So it is logical at one time or another, people would ask questions, and it's good that they've started asking those questions.
But is it important for statues to be removed?
It is important for people to feel they are part of the process. And anyway, the most logical thing, one would have asked that if they are to be perpetuated, if they continue to be there, who has been asked that that's exactly what the people want? And I think it's correct that the people are saying on their own that we think person A or person B might have been important in the history of South Africa, but he doesn't belong where he continues to be presented. I think President Mugabe's comment about roads were quite interesting. When he said, in our country, we have buried him several feet underground, and you guys are still worried about his statue here. And he says, maybe we won't even try to exhume him, because maybe this is a dipuku and so on. But fact of the matter, he was saying, we are in South Africa, the big problem is that we are not able to honor our own people. And the way the situation is, we continue honoring the people who shouldn't honor.
Okay. Fees must fall. Then students, well, you were a student activist yourself. Did you see yourself in those young students who were turning South Africa upside down?
Again, an English expression, freedom delayed is freedom denied. For the majority of young people, for the majority of black people, they want access to education. They want to be able to develop and be able to be part of the processes that will create greater development in this country. I was here, if you remember, at the time when this campaign started. And I made an analogy that when I was at university, which is many, many years ago, the biggest university was the University of the North, or TEFLUOP, which is now University of Limpopo, with 1,041 students. I still remember the number because we went through lots of processes. And because that was the biggest university, collectively the black universities did not have more than 7,000 students. And just one university, VETS, in that year had close to about 17,000 students, white students. Then there was Rhodes, then there was University of Cape Town, then there was Stellenbosch, then there was Potchefstroom. Collectively, they could amass a mass student body of more than 100,000 students. Now, if you say blacks must catch up, if you say black people must be able to compete equally with their white counterpart, if that is the reality, how are they going to do it? And you talk at a time when the overwhelming majority of people in South Africa, especially the youth, are unemployed. And therefore it means, in reality, education is not available. And hey, hashtag fees must fall. It's logical and reasonable.
But well, we know that there's about, 2 billion rand that has been put aside to try and assist. Yes, a solution may be found for the fees not to increase, not necessarily for the fees to fall.
But what happens is that we create a nation of indebted young people. Because the fact that they are not able to pay their fees, it means, one, they are not able to get their results. It means, two, that they will be sent to the credit bureaus, and as a result, even when they have a degree, it's like they have no degree because they will not have a paper to prove that they do. So I don't think those kind of solutions are adequate. This country has a preoccupation with presenting itself as a very, if they can say there's a World Cup and nobody is willing to host it, South Africa will raise a hand and say, please bring it to us. We have this sickness of wanting to spend a lot of money on things that are actually not important in developing our people. If we start from the World Cup and all those things, we spend money very easily for all kinds of things except the development of black people. And why black people? Black people were both the object and subject of the liberation struggle. Everything was about them. If we want to talk about equality, we cannot talk about equality until we have literally brought black people to a situation where they can compete economically in a manner that is reasonable and acceptable.
Okay, that is Lybon Mabasa. A reminder that you can call us, and there you've used the number to dial is 089-110-4210, 089-110-4210, our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. We're taking a quick break. When we return, what do you think? We'll be taking your calls. This is Question Time.
Health Talk, your show on health practice.
The people being empowered with knowledge so that they can change their behavior and reduce their risk of being sick.
How serious is stress at work?
If we don't address workplace stress, that negative stress, then it can lead to burnout and it can lead to depression.
How does absentees affect companies?
The one that's really problematic for employers is the one that is unscheduled.
How can companies organize their wellness program?
Health promotion mustn't just be a one-size-fits-all type of approach. It must be customized based on understanding of the unique needs of that particular organization.
For health tips that will help you to adopt healthy living with Dr. Sello Mutawung on Health Talk every Saturday.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. A reminder that indeed we're taking your calls on 089-110-4210 as we are taking Mzimkulu Setopsi.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
It's great that you brought Lybon Mabasa, and I'm happy that you've been bringing the organizations that were driving Black consciousness movement. I want to say to Lybon, he can't do what he's doing now. He needs to go into the front. Okay. There is a vacuum for leadership for Black people. The ANC is doing what it is doing now because there are no people like Lybon Mabasa who can give direction.
Nobody is there.
And he must not say that the issue of the fees must fall or the road statue must go. It's an issue of the people. Roads is not disturbing any South African. He's somewhere in a campus in Cape Town. And he's not disturbing any person. The people who are picking him up are young people who lack leadership and issues that we should be addressing. Okay. We don't have money as Black people. Our government doesn't have money. They are borrowing even to pay civil servants. They are bringing this country down. Lybon, stand up. Bring all those guys who ignited us in the past. Just do it again. Thank you.
There, you heard him.
Yes, I actually heard him. Maybe, the big problem with what you do and ideas, sometimes you can scream as hard as you want. If people are in a euphoria, whatever that euphoria is, they are probably not going to listen to you. But we are starting to think that people are starting to hear different kind of sounds which they did not hear. Because all the issues that are coming up now are not being said for the first time. Some of us have said it for so many years. Even the critique which we did about the settlement in 1994, the problems it was likely to bring, the contradictions it was likely to bring. Today, those things are coming up, and we allow people, and I think we respect those who criticize us, but we have been consistent in bringing those things up. But I think there were lots of things that were exciting about the last African country getting freedom. There were a lot of things which were exciting about the leadership, say for instance, of President Nelson Mandela, and a whole lot of things. And people were just not listening. And we're happy that this country is starting to listen, that myths are starting to be dispelled, that reality is starting to dawn on our people. When we said many years ago, hey guys, you are on your own, they didn't believe that it is so. But I think now they're starting to say, if we don't pull ourselves up, we don't start challenging all these things that are happening before our eyes, we'll actually end up being a nation that has lost out.
Johannes, you are in Soweto.
Yes, Simple.
Hi, welcome.
I'm okay. I just welcome the guy from Black Consciousness, and I'm happy about that you just called those guys to in the studio. I want to come to the issue of the stage.
Yes.
Look at the issue of the stage. We found that you've got the guy for like theater machine, the little soap uprising.
Yes.
There is not even a building in Soweto after machine. We see the building, the water system is spoiled, the water is spoiled, Mandela. So this is not our history. We wanted our history, which is belong to Soweto people, not this of. We go to the capital city, Square. You find inside there is a Mandela. That is not our history. We want the real history of Soweto. I cannot tell my daughter about what is Soweto, but I know deep where I come from.
Okay.
This is not our history. We want everything in Soweto to be named after creating machinery. So I say it's our leader. Please. Okay. Name our leaders who belong to us, not only the ANC people around South Africa. These candidates not belong to the ANC. All us is right for this liberation.
Okay.
Thank you.
My comment is, I know that there was an attempt to name Maurice Isaacson Tsietsi Mashinini High. And the final report that was given was that the people of Soweto or the people of Central Western Jabavu wanted the name Maurice Isaacson to be retained. Now, it's very difficult to understand the kind of madness that is there. When the report is given that the people said they don't want the name of Tsietsi Mashinini, they want to retain the name of Maurice Isaacson, who I believe they don't know. Tsietsi Mashinini was part of the spark that brought in the freedom we're talking about. Now, if you get a report like that, you either think there's something seriously wrong with our people. And of course, then they are happy that Rhodes is fine where he is. They are happy that Paul Kruger is okay where he is. There is just either there's an orientation or the kind of politicization that has led our people to sleep, only hoping that when they wake up, everything will be okay, but we know it won't be okay.
Atwell usemtata.
Get that.
More.
Yes, Paul.
Yes.
I just want to comment about this thing of statutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have been commenting for a long time about these things. Let me make it clear before you this thing that when these guys, they see this statue, what they do, because I've saw them so many long.
Okay.
They stop their cars near to the statue.
Mm-hmm.
And they salute the statue because...
Who are the guys, by the way, Atwell, excuse me? Who are the guys you're talking about who stop and salute?
The white guys.
Oh, okay.
They salute the statues. They say, oh, thank you very much for giving us this economy for these fucking dead people.
No.
But it's a surprise when you get these people like this guy that is here in studio, when they defend these guys. But it's not a surprise because the guys were fighting for freedom. They say they were sellouts. So this guy there, it's a sellout for this.
Oh, okay, Atwell. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we are a live program, so we are not able to censor certain words that you use in the program. But we would encourage our viewers to call in and decently submit their points, in a language that is acceptable. This is all age viewing. But we're still taking your calls. The number is on the screen as we speak, so that you are able to converse with us. 089-110-4210 is the number to dial. Marikana refused to die.
The commission report finally came out. Again, it represented the business I'm talking about. They say the police are liable, but the government is not liable. Isn't the police and the army the enforcing arm of the state? How do the police become liable and the government does not become liable? And Marikana remains the darkest moment in the history of a reborn country, because it reminded us of the violence that was meted against our people because they were struggling for their freedom. And today in a situation where we are, you really hope that you actually could not contemplate the possibility of something like Marikana happening. And I think it's going to live with us for a very long time. Because on the one hand, the government would say we want to assist and so on. They will then appoint judges or lawyers to try and negotiate and renegotiate and so on. And you ask, where is the good faith? Fact of the matter is that people were mowed down. They were killed in the name of profit and nothing else. And we do not think Marikana will go away. We think Marikana represent what we have always, the fact that capitalism has no human face. It cannot be given a human face. It cannot be called, there's no democratic capitalism. Capitalism is class rule, and it carries itself in a certain manner like it did in Marikana.
Matsidiso, welcome. Matsidiso? Matsidiso? Okay, we seem to be having a problem with Matsidiso. But yeah, please do call us back and let's see if we are able to take your call. Okay, let's leave Marikana. Parliament, there was a lot of disruptions there.
One comrade would have said there was "How's your father?"
Yes.
in Parliament. Yes. But when you look at it, actually, it's people desiring to own their power because they are told they are in power, that they are the ones who represent whatever view that comes out of Parliament. And I think they were trying to deal with what was spoken about many years ago, that Parliament tends to be a forum where ordinary people are deceived. And it's that struggle where people say we want our power and we do not want this forum to be used to deceive us. I think there were positives that came out of Parliament this year. Not only the fact that they did not sleep and still get paid for sleeping, but also that they did what Biko said at the Sasso BPC trial. When Riz accused Biko that you people are preaching confrontation and that's bloodshed, he said, but I'm confronting you now and there is no bloodshed. So Parliament became a forum of confrontation in order to look for solutions that would not only help members of Parliament, but help people in the country.
Temba in Kungudlov.
Yeah, man, how are you?
I'm well,
Look,
thank you.
man, I'm calling from Pietermaritzburg.
Yes.
I just want you to put a question to Mr. Mabasa.
He's listening.
Mabasa, your guest.
Yes, he is listening, Mabasa.
Okay, then. I want him to comment about the king, King Danijebo and all the circus around him.
Okay.
I want him to comment about the arson, not about anything else, about the arson in relation to the king's powers, whether it is right for the king to burn down people's houses with children inside, with furniture, with everything else. Can we take it as the right of a king to do that?
Temba, you seem to have a position already on that, eh? Okay, that's fine.
Well, my comment would be that the present constitution decided to uphold those institutions. They are actually institutions of the past, to tell the truth. They decided to uphold those institutions. And by upholding those institutions, they then would be bound to respect the cultures of those institutions. It's parallel rule. In England, they have the king and the queen. Of course, it doesn't matter what she does. I don't think they would take her to jail. They would find a way to say, no, the monarch can't go to jail. She could do whatever she wants. But in our most democratic constitution, we uphold them and also take them to jail. It's a contradiction which I think those who drew the constitution and those who perpetuate the constitution would have to deal with. When your blood does not look like other people's blood, it's blue. And everybody accepts that your blood is blue. Right from the beginning, you create problems for yourself. And I don't want to get into that. I would say this constitution upholds the institutions, and if they do, then they have to behave in the manner that shows respect to those institutions.
Okay, finally though, and very quickly, ZANU-PF has announced that President Mugabe is going to be their candidate in 2018. What do you think?
What I think is that despite all the weaknesses, despite everything, he's the bravest person in Africa. Considering that everybody kowtows and people get scared when they see white people. And Mugabe doesn't do that. We might not like how he does it, but I think he is actually the bravest person.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Lybon Mabasa, the president of the Socialist Party of Azania. And indeed, we end question time in 2015 by wishing you all the best in the coming new calendar year, hoping that all shall go well. And may the mighty God of Mount Zion bless you with the desires of your heart. Goodbye.